So Ash Ketchum has been 10 years old for over the past 10 years now, and by my count, that ain't right. And a lot of people have become confused by this. I've been reading different places that some of the hypotheses that people have come up with trying to explain the phenomenon of Ash Ketchum just refusing to age. Some people have said a pretty good theory about Ash Ketchum being in a coma and it's all just a dream. Some people are saying that Pokemon is meant to continuously target a younger audience, an audience that's more impressionable, because they can want the merchandise, because Pokemon is a series which is mostly meant to push toys and cards and things like that, which, you know, it seems very plausible, but the real truth of this is, the real truth is something much more mind-boggling. The true story to Pokemon is something more complex than Neon Genesis Evangelion. The truth is that when I think about Pokemon, the first generation of Pokemon, taking it all the way back to the start of the Pokemon series, when I think about Pokemon Generation 1, I think about Ash Ketchum's mom, because she is arguably the hottest MILF in anime, but she is not actually Ash Ketchum's real mom. Who is Ash Ketchum's real mom? We don't know. But Ash Ketchum in Pokemon, in all of the Pokemon series, is not the real Ash Ketchum. So who is the real Ash Ketchum? I'm sorry to tell you, but the real Ash Ketchum has died a few years back. He actually died before the start of the original Pokemon series, and all of the Ash Ketchums that have been 10 years old in all of these series were simply clones of the original Ash Ketchum. You might ask yourself, why are there so many clones of him and who keeps cloning him? You gotta look back into Ash's past, the real Ash, who he was and what he did. The original Ash was the founder of the PERCD, which stands for the Pokemon Evolution and Reproduction Control Division, and he founded this, and ever since his death, Pokemon, the development of new evolutions of Pokemon, and also the reproduction of new types of Pokemon has been on a rampant incline here. Despite their cute appearance, Pokemon are actually very horny creatures, and they breed numerous times a day. They breed so much that they cause a threat to humanity. They threaten humanity not because they're dangerous to humanity, basically because they would eat all of the food in the world and starve out all of the humans. Now, they're so cute that humans would never eat a Pokemon, but that wasn't always the case. In Ash's grandfather's days, the original Ash Pokemon were actually pretty vicious creatures, and people would hunt them. But due to evolution, they continuously changed themselves to become more cute, and this was actually a defense mechanism from other humans, because they knew if they were to become really cute creatures that people would not hunt them, they would not eat them. So this would pretty much give them a safe spot, and people would basically give them all of their food, and they basically would make sure that the Pokemon is doing well, even though the person may be starving themselves. You see, in the original Ash's time, it became a law that humans cannot hurt Pokemon, and basically what he did was he developed a loophole by this by training the most vicious Pokemon in existence. This Pokemon, it cannot even breed. It is one of a kind. So basically what Ash did was he trained his vicious Pokemon to fly all over the world to sniff out new variants of Pokemon DNA, and also what baby Pokemon smell like, and whenever he smells a new variation of DNA, and also there being plenty of new Pokemon, baby Pokemon being around each other, which means that there are a lot of Pokemon being born at once, he will go around and actually eat them, controlling the evolution of new types of Pokemon and also the reproduction of Pokemon in general to create the same type. This is why, since the original Ash's death, before the original Pokemon series, we have seen so many new types of Pokemon come into play within the series that it's pretty much proving the point that the evolution of Pokemon will continue to an end, that they will eat up all of the food supply and people will starve to death. Despite Ash's methods to try and save humanity, he was basically demonized for this and became a very controversial character, because at this point Pokemon were so cute, especially baby Pokemon, that people demonized him about this until the day that he was assassinated by the original Gary Oak. That's right, Gary Oak is also a clone. So that brings the question as to why anybody would even want to clone Gary Oak if he's ultimately the person who assassinates Ash Ketchum. You see, the original Ash, he came from a long line of Pokemon hunters, so he grew up to be a strong Pokemon trainer just because it's been in his blood for his entire life, basically, but there's nobody to pass the torch onto Ash here. That's why there's no father figure here, because there's really nobody that can create the original Ash. Just because there's nobody there to teach Ash Ketchum this from an early age doesn't mean that he can't catch on. So they cloned Gary Oak to become a strong rival for him so that he will strive to become a better Pokemon master and overcome Gary Oak, and also Team Rocket as well. You see, Team Rocket is a subsidiary of the PERCD, and they're not actually all that bad. All that they do is they capture Pokemon and they study their reproduction habits, and they put it into a simulation machine to simulate how much time until Pokemon basically took over the world. But then in Pokemon, there's that one branch of Team Rocket that Ash actually has to deal with. Jesse and James, they aren't actually high-ranking Team Rocket members. They're just people that were strong enough to give a 10-year-old boy trouble, but at the same time they were stupid enough for Ash to be able to beat them and become stronger in the process. So if there's so many clones of Ash Ketchum, and they've been trying for so many years to make him like the original Ash, what's the problem? You see, Ash, he always makes friends. He always becomes a really nice and cheerful person who loves his Pokemon and would never grow up to become a person who would send another Pokemon out to eat and kill other Pokemon. Because he didn't have that background of a Pokemon hunter ever since he was born, like the original Ash did, he always grows up to fall in love with the Pokemon because they're so cute, and also he has so many friends. He always becomes a different person despite all of the rigorous training that the PERCD has set up for him in his life. He always becomes that same person that loves his Pokemon, that loves his friends, and ultimately humanity is doomed. Anyway, so I hope you enjoyed my debunking of Pokemon and explaining to you why Ash Ketchum is still 10 years over this long span of history with Pokemon. So if you have any other theories as to why Ash Ketchum is 10 years old, let me know in the comment section below. Let me know what you thought about my debunking here. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you later.